Welcome to the Radio of Horror YouTube channel and the funniest horror movie of 2022, the April Fool's horror movie of 2022. This is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies by A24 Studio, and rather one of their most unusual films, considering a lot of their films are kind of dark and bleak and depressing. X had some humor to it, but it took a long time to get there after the beginning of the movie. But A24 films, let's face it, are depressing horror movies, and this is the first one I was like, we're not going to spoil everything about this film, but it is definitely the film to go watch. I was not expecting what I saw. I was expecting more of The Hangover than anything I was gonna get, and I didn't get as much of The Hangover as I was expecting. So, but Katie's going to talk about Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Is that a real game? Do people play that? Is that the werewolf game they mentioned?
I don't know. I've never played Bodies.
Or werewolf? I think werewolf. I think the character Greg mentions a game called Werewolf. I think that is a real game, but it's usually played with like a card system game or it's like a phone app game. So, but I've never heard of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. But as soon as he said werewolf, I was like, oh, I've played that game.
I know werewolf kind of sounds more familiar than Bodies. But I mean, I like the game Bodies. It's just I would think one of the things about Bodies is that all the lights have to be out, and you then if you picked the tag as a killer, then if you tap someone and then they're immediately dead, my thing is like, wouldn't people just run into stuff? But I guess they do use flashlights, so I don't know. I would think the whole thing about being the killer and being sneaky is that you wouldn't be able to see who they were, but I guess not. But Bodies, directed by Helena Rain and written by Kristen, I'm gonna probably butcher these names, Rupania and Sarah DeLapp, starring Amanda Stenberg as Sophie, Maria Bakalova as B, Rachel Sennett as Alice, Lee Pace as Greg, Pete Davidson as David, Chase Sui Wonders as Emma, and Mahala Harold as Jordan. Sophie and B are a new couple, 6 weeks together, going to Sophie's friend's house for a hurricane party. Now, if you don't know what that is when a hurricane's about to happen. You're in a giant house. It's very fortified, so you really don't have to worry about much, and you just party with the when the lights are probably going to go out or where the storm's going on, because it's like, what better way than rich people to do is say, screw you, God, we can do anything and we're going to party. So they're on their way. They're driving through New York to this hurricane house, which is ginormous. This is one of the things that I am not familiar with. How many people, look, I know some people who are very well off, like they're fine for the rest of their lives. I don't know anyone who has a house so big that it actually has exit signs. I'm not sure if that was a mistake by the production design, because I've never seen a house so big that you actually have exit signs coming down. And this is supposed to be Pete Davidson's dad's house. There's a little bit, all the people that are at this house, the characters that I name are all friends of Sophie. She has just gotten out of rehab, which sounds like when she went in, it was very tumultuous. There's a lot of tension with all of the friends. So they meet Sophie's new girlfriend, B. She's a little, not anywhere close to being as rich as any of these people, but she's a sweetheart. And when stuff starts to go down and B and Jordan are kind of dancing, Sophie says, silence, let's play Bodies. So what happens? The game is afoot. You're trying to figure out who the killer is, all that stuff. And then someone actually dies. Now, I call this film, I call this a prime example of a film that's just a film that if you ever want to look and see what 2022 was, this is a very like a time capsule film. Like this is what it is. the language, the attitude, everything. There's many things going on in the film that you won't see in even movies 5 years in the past, possibly not even 5 years in the future. There's funny. It's got an amazing soundtrack. There's a lot of misdirects. There's a lot of drama going on that you don't necessarily need, much like 2022. And you've got the heavenly body that is Lee Pace in it, which, fine, thank you. I like to have your babies. All the female characters are absolutely fantastic. Amanda Stenberg, Maria Bakalova. I would say Maria Bakalova probably filmed this like not long after she did Borat, which she was nominated for an Oscar for. And I could see a number of the other characters at some point being nominated as well for some Oscars. Because I mean, the acting's not bad. There's lots of lines that are like freaking hilarious. Like the fact that Pete Davidson, his character David, says like, "I look like I fuck." That's a vibe I like to put out there. That is hilarious because honestly, I don't know if he improvised that or they did that line just for him, but it's kind of point on. And that's sort of what the whole script is about. Everything is just point on with what you're like. Before you try and gaslight me into thinking this is a better movie than it is, Chris, don't trigger me. Again, these are all things that are in the film. I like the fact that what ensued the chaos with, the murder at the end, when you figure out what happens, it's just like, Jesus Christ, it's very 2022. And I mean, go there, have a good time, bring a lollipop or two, take a drink, have some stuff you can get, little glow sticks and whatnot, and just go there to have a good time. Don't take it too seriously. Enjoy the hell out of that soundtrack, because honestly, that is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Little wonky on the direction, in my opinion, somewhat, but I mean, again, this is about as time capsule as you could get. And Chris, what did you think?
The songs in the movie, thankfully I was sitting in a corner of the theater, so I didn't have to worry about my phone bothering too many people. But I usually, if I have to have it on for reasons like Shazam or taking notes, I usually turn the light all the way down and put it in the seat next to me. Hot Girls by Charlie XCX, Daddy AF, I'm assuming Daddy as fuck or something.
Yep.
By Slater, 100 Boyfriends, Slime. I don't know any of these songs. Modern
You don't know
day
Hot
music
Girl?
for me, I knew Hot Girls, but a Hot Girl, but most of these songs are really modern day R&B and hip hop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow any of that. And honestly, the last new album I bought was a soundtrack for whatever movie happened to be. It was Spider-Verse. I think it was the last new soundtrack. That's not a score. Yes, I've bought a few scores from modern day movies, but Spider-Verse was probably the last modern day type of music that I bought, unless you count the last album that was put out by Alice Cooper, but Alice Cooper's like 40 years old, but it's still a new album. Things like that. That's what that is what I'm into. When Stranger Things drops an entire soundtrack, I'm just like, download. But that's all music from my youth, from the 80s. I like old hip hop. New hip hop, can't get into it. So this entire soundtrack, I was shazamming it like every 5 minutes, being like, what are they playing? Because I know it's going to come up probably when we do this recording.
Honestly, if they actually have a soundtrack, which I don't know if they will, because I feel like soundtracks are great. I love soundtracks. I don't know if they're actually making soundtracks anymore. I may be aging myself because
no, they do.
They do? Good. Because
Yeah.
I love soundtracks. If they make a soundtrack for this, I will totally buy it, because I think, again, Hot Girl, I've used that on a few reels and stories, like since I saw the film like a couple weeks ago, because it comes out August 12th. Go and see it opening day. I think it's worth it. But yeah, definitely for the music, it's one of those things. I do think it's funny that, and I don't think I'm giving away much, but the fact that someone lying about graduating college is more deceitful and gets more of a clutch the pearls shock comment than someone who just got out of rehab and is like snorting cocaine like it's going out of style. I thought that was very interesting. Again, maybe this is a new thing. It's like, we don't I don't know. But to me,
there's a ton of vinyl soundtracks that get released in scores. I mean, because
Yeah.
vinyl blew up. Kevin Smith will have a soundtrack for Clerks 3. This is the one for Clerks 2. It's kind of coming in and out of the blue screen. But yeah, there's a lot of soundtracks. It's not just like Marvel movies or comic book related films. I know both Deadpool movies had a pretty heavy soundtrack to both films, with a lot of iconic music to it. And again, not counting Stranger Things because of the they're big like, hey, nostalgia with these songs. Waxworks and what's the other big record vinyl release company, Mondo. They put out a ton of scores for horror and sci-fi movies. But like every Disney movie's got like a score, a soundtrack, like Manoa, the whatever that movie was called.
Moana.
Thank you, Moana. But I was going into Bodies expecting serious hangover, because I'm not into party movies. I've really grown out of them. It's really got to catch my attention. I've seen just a lot of like garbage party looking movies on Hulu and stuff, but this was entertaining once it finally got the body started hitting the floor. When you get into like you just don't know who to trust in this movie, and then you kind of get a big reveal, and it was just like a slap in the face of like, oh, okay.
The big reveal, again, I feel like is so, I don't know. I don't think they could have done that reveal like any other time. I feel like it is such a now time for that, like, which I thought was genius, because it's like, oh my God, you guys, seriously, idiots.
I didn't even recognize Lee Pace.
Really?
No, I mean, most of the time he's like in that goofy looking makeup from the Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel, or he's playing very clean shaven. I'm not very clean shaven right now, but very clean shaven, kept hair. And he's like looking like, the Savage Man with his long hair. It was just a different look for him. And I didn't recognize his voice until I saw it in the credits. I was just like, that's who that was?
Oh yeah, he's great. He was one of my favorite parts of the film. His performance and the performance by Rachel Sennott, who plays Alice, who has a podcast. And when she's describing, it's like it takes a lot of time. I mean, to get the guests and put it together. I mean, it really isn't just something. And I'm like, oh, sweetheart, we understand.
One thing that I thought was odd in the movie, and this is really, 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 really random, and it's only because the exit sign of the movie theater, which is a bright green logo right next to the screen, so you know where the exit is in case of fire. In the movie, she is walking around trying to find everyone else, and she walks into frame behind her in what could be the kitchen. There is an exit sign in the movie theater, in the movie,
Yeah.
in this guy's home.
Yeah.
I have been to rich people's houses before. I've been to mansions before. I've never seen an exit sign, bright green, like the logo behind me, looking like a movie theater exit sign. And I did a double take, and it's a long shot as she's coming into view, and I'm like, the exit sign looks just like the one right next to the screen. And someone turned around, looked at me, and was like, I noticed that too.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I said. It's like, I know many people who are very well off, but I've never been in a house that actually has an exit sign inside their house. So I think that was kind of a big mistake on the production design. I'm not sure if this is like a historical house and they do tours and that's why it was in there or something, because even on a set, it doesn't make sense. So it was just really weird to see an exit sign that's supposed to be in a residential house, no matter how big it is.
Right.
Yeah, that was like a,
and this it's an A24 film. They're not known for big budgets.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know what the budget is on this, but it's like, I feel like it's like, really, you guys, I mean,
I
I've
mean,
been on sets and you just put tape over them. Like you have to take it off immediately afterwards so people know where to go. But I felt like that was a big misstep on that. But I thought the casting was great. I thought the guys did a good job. I think the women did an excellent job. I think there's some things with the direction that were a little wonky to me with the movement and stuff, motion, all that. But I mean, as far as the story goes, like the bookends, beginning and end, when you figure out what the whole catalyst of this is, and then what the reveal is at the end, I think that was really good.
that was good writing. The actor who's well known in this from Saturday Night Live and recently was just in the Suicide Squad movie. I remember when the Suicide Squad came out and he gets killed off in that. I don't remember the name of the comic book character he's killed, but he's killed on the beach in the beginning of the movie. He had talked about like he's got a death toll now because he's died in a lot of films, and I'm like, you ain't got no Sean Bean death toll, but I'm happy that you're all proud of your career getting killed off in movies, but you've got a long way to go to catch up to Sean Bean.
Spoiler. Yeah, Pete Davidson he was great. Love, love, love. But Amanda Stenberg, I can't wait to see what else you're doing. Just saw her in Dear Evan Hansen and love her work in Hunger Games. But Bodies, 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 I thought she was great in it. Again, it's a fun, dumb film to see with friends. Bring a lollipop, bring your glow sticks, have some drinks, have some fun, watch the film, and then go play Bodies, Bodies, Bodies afterwards. It comes out August 12th. Chris, what did you think? And we both love the soundtrack. I would definitely buy that soundtrack. I'm sure A24 is probably going to have it out. Get it because it's worth it. The songs on there are great. They go with the film. They're freaking catchy. That Hot Girl song is just killing it all over the place. And I know, like, when I was watching the film, it's like every single song that they played, it's like, dang, this is really, really good.
And if you can't play Bodies, 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 look up Werewolf. That's an actual game. I just looked it up online. Yeah, though that's there's a lot of articles online being like, can't find Bodies, go buy Werewolf. It's the game you can play with friends, and you play with cards, and it's a whole mystery. You got to figure out who the werewolf is, but it's a rotating like phone kind of thing app. I can't explain it. It's I played it once or twice. It's a lot of fun. It's the same kind of game, but just werewolf, not serial killer. Katie's got the glow sticks on. I didn't have any glow sticks ready for it, but it matches one of the characters in the movie. The overacting was superior. Check out the rest of the videos here on the Radio Horror YouTube channel. I don't know what's coming up next. I know we're gonna do Smile and The Invitation, which was previewed before this movie. It looked amazing and creepy. It's like Ready or Not, but creepier. Check out Katie over on her Facebook page and like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll be back with probably The Invitation, maybe.
Maybe Prey, maybe something else. Check out The Blonde in Front on Instagram and YouTube, and more of our videos coming soon.